The first sign of trouble was a flicker, so faint and insignificant that even the Empire's grandest war room sensors barely twitched. "Humans," sneered Grand Admiral Vorax, swirling his crystalline synth tea as he gazed out across the galaxy from his command tower orbiting Zorthal Prime. A backward species clinging to dusty worlds, their technology barely fit to light a candle. Their so-called spaceflight is little more than a firecracker in a supernova. We can crush them like ants underfoot. Around him, the Empire's officers nodded, smug and unshakable in their centuries of dominance. The Empire had ruled the stars for millennia, its fleets the stuff of legends, sleek, powerful, and absolute. Every known civilization bowed or burned under their iron grip. So why worry about a species still pumping out steam engines and arguing over who invented the wheel? "Their technology is archaic," the Supreme Minister Grelth proclaimed, voice dripping with contempt. "Their scientists rely on outdated relics while we wield quantum processors that rewrite reality. To think we should fear them is laughable." Intelligence reports barely raised an eyebrow at Earth. Classified as culturally disorganized, technologically stagnant, and militarily insignificant, humans were nothing more than a punchline in alien forums. Memes mocking their slow internet and obsession with cat videos flooded the networks. "Why do they worship such primitive distractions?" mused a senior analyst. "How can they hope to stand against our might?" But deep beneath Earth's crust, in a hidden command nexus humming with antiquated machinery and stubborn hope, Admiral Steve Rook paced in front of a massive holomap. Red dots flashed, Empire fleets converging. Unlike his polished counterparts, Steve wore a simple jumpsuit, his sleeves rolled up, eyes sharp and wild with defiance. "They think we're ants," he said with a crooked grin. "Good. Let's be the damn ants that bring down the elephant." Earth's fleet was a motley patchwork of ships. Scrapped freighters refitted with salvage tech from centuries past. Steam-powered drones welded to rusty hulls. Outdated satellites rewired with code no one else understood. Against the Empire's gleaming armada, they looked laughable. But that was the point. Steve's plan wasn't to win with brute force, it was to win with chaos. Confuse. Frustrate. Embarrass. Break their perfect order. They mocked our steam engines. Called our early AI primitive toys. Said our ancient satellites were junk. Steve's voice dropped, fierce with pride. "They don't know we built that tech 700 years ago. Then we stopped listening to their rules and started doing our own thing." His team exchanged nervous glances as he slammed a fist on the table. "Their arrogance is the crack in their armor. We're about to widen that crack until they break." With a flick of his wrist, the holomap zoomed in, revealing the ragtag fleet ready for battle. "We've loaded the old with the new," Steve explained. "Solar flare traps, meme-coded AI viruses, steam-powered confetti drones, the kind of nonsense that drives them mad. We don't have their numbers or their shiny toys, but we have something better: unpredictability." His crew chuckled, the tension breaking. Steve sent a final broadcast across the stars, a cryptic message wrapped in emojis and broken alien dialects: "Prepare to be unprepared." Across the galaxy, that was the last warning the Empire got before the ants swarmed. The Empire's warships sliced through the void toward Earth's orbit, sleek, terrifying, and bristling with weaponry. Grand Admiral Vorax's voice cut through the bridge, crisp and commanding. "Engage the primitive bastards. Show them why the Empire crushes all who dare defy us." His fleet surged forward with cold precision, ready to extinguish what they still thought was a flicker of insignificance. But then, the first shock hit. As Empire scanners locked on, their data streams twisted and tangled, flooded with nonsense signals, static, bursts of random code, and, most baffling of all, streams of cat videos encoded in dozens of alien dialects. "What is this? Digital garbage?" barked Commander Zelto, eyes wide as his console spat out corrupted readings. "Are they trying to jam us with memes?" The answer was worse than they imagined. From Earth's orbit exploded a swarm of tiny steam-powered drones, clanking and whirring like a mechanical hornet's nest. The Empire's gunners blasted away, but the drones didn't falter. They dodged, they repaired mid-flight, and they hurled bursts of confetti bombs that clogged targeting sensors and set off hilarious audio glitches, broadcasting distorted alien pop songs and badly translated dance now commands. Alien officers found themselves giggling uncontrollably or shouting at malfunctioning consoles, spewing ridiculous motivational speeches. "This is absurd," yelled Admiral Drell as a drone zipped past, dropping a glitter bomb that plastered his rank insignia with sparkles. "It's like they turned war into a carnival." But the humans weren't just clowning around, they were winning. Meanwhile, the human hackers unleashed Trollbot, a viral AI designed to infiltrate enemy systems with a flood of cat pictures, bureaucratic memes, and bad puns that scrambled the Empire's tactical communications. Suddenly, Starship computers issued bizarre orders: deploy T-ceremony protocol, execute interpretive dance maneuver, and initiate system-wide dad jokes. Confusion spread like wildfire. "How is this possible?" cried an alien captain, watching his fleet's firepower dance to the tune of cosmic slapstick. Reports poured in of ships suffering spontaneous geysers of steam, overloaded cooling systems reacting violently to the viral mayhem. Others reported ghost ships flashing blinding bursts of light, solar flare traps that scrambled sensor arrays and created illusions of phantom armadas. "It's as if we're fighting shadows and jesters at once," muttered one beleaguered commander. But the humans stayed calm and irreverent. Steve's voice crackled over intercepted frequencies, dripping with sly amusement. "Welcome to the dance party. Hope you brought your best moves." Earth's fleet projected holograms mocking the Empire's leadership, giant alien dignitaries with googly eyes, oversized ears, and dancing to ridiculous tunes broadcast galaxy-wide. The Empire's mighty command centers erupted into chaos as officers struggled to maintain decorum while trying not to burst out laughing. Supreme Minister Grelth stormed into a crisis meeting, slamming his fist on the table. "This is madness. This species fights not with weapons, but with mockery and chaos." His advisors scrambled to respond, but each suggestion was met with new waves of human trickery. "They don't just attack, they embarrass us," muttered one general, eyes wild. Panic and denial rippled through the Empire ranks. "They cannot win with such primitive tech," insisted one officer. "It must be sabotage or witchcraft." But it was neither. It was humanity's greatest weapon, unpredictable, absurd, and completely out of the Empire's control. The humans weren't just fighting, they were rewriting the rules of war. As the battle intensified, Empire panic escalated. Ships malfunctioned spectacularly, guns spinning wildly, communication arrays broadcasting lullabies, and command protocols triggering unexpected fireworks displays. The humans pressed their advantage with relentless, chaotic precision. Steve grinned as he watched the Empire crumble under waves of laughter and confusion. "Let's see how you handle the next move," he said. The battle was far from over, but one thing was clear: the Empire's arrogance had met its match, and the ants were swarming. Just when the Empire's fleet thought it might claw back control, the humans unveiled their trump card, the Resonator. It looked absurd, like a giant disco ball fused to an old steam engine, flashing a chaotic kaleidoscope of lights and spinning gears. "Is that some kind of relic?" Commander Zelto whispered, suspicion and dread creeping into his voice. Steve leaned back, arms crossed, a sly grin playing on his lips. "Not just a relic. It's a psychological masterpiece." With a flick of a switch, the Resonator hummed to life, unleashing waves of oscillating frequencies that invaded the bioneural implants of every Empire soldier and officer in range. The effect? Unstoppable, uncontrollable, ridiculous. One moment, stern admirals barked orders; the next, they were moonwalking across command decks or breaking into operatic karaoke renditions of ancient Earth pop songs. Entire brigades synchronized into impromptu dance-offs, while generals questioned their life choices mid-battle. "This isn't a war," gasped an alien captain, "it's a cosmic disco." Reports flooded in from the front lines, disciplined soldiers unable to stop giggling or spontaneously bursting into dramatic soliloquies. "The Resonator is dismantling our command structures with style," groaned Supreme Minister Grelth, pacing frantically as his advisors tripped over each other trying to restore order. But humanity's chaos wasn't limited to flashy dance parties. Steve ordered a fleet of drone broadcasters to unleash an unending stream of motivational quotes, dad jokes, and outrageously over-the-top memes, directly fed into enemy neural networks. Morale collapsed as alien troops surrendered en masse, not because of fear, but because they simply couldn't resist laughing, questioning the meaning of their existence, or taking extended breaks to process these feelings. Across the galaxy, whispers of rebellion sparked as star systems watched the mighty empire falter, ridiculed by a species they once dismissed as prehistoric. The empire's control, once ironclad, crumbled under waves of absurdity and mockery. "They're not just fighting us," Steve's voice echoed through hacked comms, "they're dancing on the corpse of your arrogance." Inside the empire's shattered command center, Greltha's fury boiled over. "We were supposed to be gods. Masters of the cosmos. And yet here we are, undone by a disco ball and internet jokes." His generals nodded miserably, caught in fits of laughter or practicing their own awkward dance moves in defiance. Meanwhile, the resonator continued its hypnotic pulse, the galaxy's deadliest weapon turned party starter. Every pulse was a jab, every light show a jab at centuries of empire hubris. Earth's forces prepared for the final phase, an all-out psychological blitz that would shatter the Empire's spirit without firing a single traditional shot. The galactic stage was set for the ultimate showdown. The Empire was fractured, humiliated, and vulnerable. Humanity stood poised, confident and calm, ready to end this cosmic comedy with a flourish. This wasn't just a battle for survival, it was a demonstration of what happens when chaos masters order, and memes become weapons of mass disruption. The final act began not with roaring cannons or explosive firestorms, but with waves of laughter rippling through the void. Empire warships, once fearsome icons of conquest, found themselves ensnared in an endless loop of absurd holographic projections. Command decks flickered with images of alien leaders transformed into giant dancing cats, intergalactic pies flying wildly through corridors, and stick figures performing outrageous dances that would have been viral hits on Earth. On bridge after bridge, officers desperately tried to maintain control, but the relentless barrage of ridiculousness shattered discipline. Communications were flooded with live streams of humans roasting the Empire's bureaucratic nightmares and questionable fashion choices. The infamous galactic roast became an instant classic, broadcast to every corner of the galaxy, mocking alien pomposity with surgical precision. Unable to bear the humiliation, the Empire's fleet splintered, retreating in chaotic disarray. Their warships, symbols of invincibility, limped away like shattered monuments to pride and failure. The once mighty Supreme Minister Grelth watched helplessly as his empire crumbled, not from brute force, but from wit, memes, and sheer human audacity. Back on Earth, Admiral Steve Rook stood before the cameras, a sly grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. His voice was calm, confident, dripping with the kind of swagger that only victory breeds. To all the empires out there, never underestimate a species that mastered steam, memes, and bad dance moves 700 years ago. We're not just human. We're humanity unchained. Catch you on the next meme war. With that, he dropped the mic, silence held for a heartbeat. Then, across star systems and networks, erupted an explosion of laughter, cheers, and memes, the universal language of a species that just rewrote the rules of galactic warfare. The Empire was broken, their pride shattered like glass, and their power forever diminished. And humanity? They were just getting started.